Welcome to the Preparika. So this is the login screen for our application. After users log in, they will be directed to the home page. Here, there is a search bar for users to search any recipes provided by our application. Below that, there are three sections. The first one is My Recipes, which are the recipes created by this specific user. Cooked are the recipes that the user have already tried out. Favorite are the recipes the user start. Also, we have this functionality for user to filter out the recipes based on their tags. Then if we navigate through the profile page, users can change their password, view account information, or sign out. Now we will go to our add a new recipe functionality. After hitting this plus button, users are able to create a new recipe. For demonstration purpose, there is a drop-down for users to select the tags they created. If there is nothing entered, then the complete button will be deactivated. After there is something entered, the button will be activated. At this stage, if user accidentally hit back button, there is a notification to remind them if they actually want to quit. If they hit yes, then we can see there is nothing new created. If they hit cancel, then they will be stay in this page. Finally, if they hit complete, then a new recipe is now created, and the users can edit these recipes later. Then now, if we go back to the home page, you can see a new recipe is now created.
Now we'll move on to the next functionality, which is the calendar. If the user chooses to cook this recipe, they can hit the Let's Cook button and they will be directed to the calendar page. Here are the dates of the week, and users can choose a time slot that they want to cook this recipe in. After they choose a slot, the recipe will be auto-imported into the calendar, and the user can also add some descriptions to it. If they hit delete, then nothing is saved. If they hit OK, the recipe is now saved. They can also edit this recipe later on. We also have another functionality which can export the schedule into some other calendar apps that the user uses. Now we will go on to the next functionality, which is the shopping list. After there is something entered into the calendar, the ingredients of those recipes will be auto-imported into the shopping list. Users can edit the shopping list, increase or decrease ingredient amounts, or delete ingredients that they don't like. Also, they can check off the ingredients that they have already shopped, and there will be a pop-up to congratulate them.
Now we will go to our next functionality, which is the expenses page. In the expense page, there is a weekly report to give users a summary of how much they expended for groceries and how much they spent for eating out during the week. Below, there is a detailed record. If the user wants to add a new record, they can click on the plus button. Again, if there's nothing entered, the complete button will be deactivated. And after these two mandatory fields are entered, the complete button will be activated. After we hit complete, we can see that there's a new record over here. And that is the overview of our Hi-Fi application.
So now moving on to the actual walkthrough of what we've done so far. So let's start the application. And it'll start on our login page. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be logging in with a user with email test@gmail.com, and we're going to be logging with Firebase authentication. So right now, looking at the authentication console, you can see that there's currently no user with that email registered to our app. So if we try logging in with that email, test@gmail.com, let's say password test 123, try signing in, authentication failed. So let's sign up instead. We sign up with that email, locks us in, we refresh this, and now we can see test@gmail.com has been registered with our app. And it's also given a user UID, which will be used to tag any photos and recipes that the user uploads. So now that we have authentication out of the way, Naman will walk us through adding recipes.
Yep. Hello, let's start. Click add recipe. Here we can add a photo, or we can select a photo of a recipe or dish from our gallery. This is our emulated camera. So we'll just choose a generic photograph here. Now we can change the recipe name. And for our individual tags, ingredients, and directions, we're separating the data using commas. And we're going to parse the data into the database. In the future, we want to add a nice UI to be able to toggle that back and forth. But for functionality purposes, for now, we're separating by comma. Add recipe. And here you can confirm that you have all the correct data you need. Let's confirm. And now recipe has been uploaded successfully. Let's log out for a second. And here we'll log back in with our test user because now the user is actually in our database and is authenticated. Voila. And as you can see, my recipe is available under our list alongside other recipes that we'd be creating. This is a quick view of the recipes that we have. Now let's go to see the remainder of our activities. These ones are not yet complete with functionality, but do possess our UI. Here we have the weekly budget report, and we may add or remove items from this budget, as well as go to our dashboard. Next page. Here we have the settings screen, also known as the profile screen, where the user can modify how they look, their name, as well as the different settings such as notification. Next screen. This is our calendar view, where we can add recipes to a certain time of the day or week. And once we export this, we can go to the next screen. Here, all of the recipes that have been exported from our calendar, we tell all the ingredients used for those recipes and create a shopping list for the user. The user can then manually increase or decrease each item and quantity, or remove them altogether. Thank you for this view, Shaurya. Now we'll be speaking with Khalid about what our next steps are.
Thanks, Madan. Our next steps are pretty simple. Most of our blockers have been coming from time. Most of our team has been a little bit busy with other stuff, but we did a reassessment of our schedules, and we believe in the next 2 weeks we have the most amount of time to get this project done effectively. Our goal is to not only implement the features that we outlined today, but also to get it as close to the hi-fi mockup as possible. We're also aware that scope comes into big play here, so we're going to be making sure that we're not overscoping or underscoping our project by always assessing if the feature is useful. We believe that in the next 2 weeks, the project will be good and ready to launch. Thank you so much for watching our demo. We hope you enjoyed.